What's good, everybody? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson back at it again with another collaboration here on the YouTube channel. And today I have one of my long-term buddies here in this business. I knew him before he started his YouTube journey, and he's a very, very powerful YouTuber. I'll let him explain who he is before we get started.
Yo, it's your man BMT, Black Man Travels. Currently living here in Thailand. I've been traveling pretty much since 2017 initially, and I finally moved overseas in 2020. I have a Facebook group called Passport Bros and Black Man Travels, and I also have a YouTube channel discussing travel and expatting around the world.
All right, so editors, give him a round of applause. And we've been waiting to do this. Obviously, I just kind of got back into some collaborations with the YouTube community after almost about a year off, and we had been talking about doing this and the time difference and everything like that. But obviously, you were with the Passport Bros before it blew up. I remember when I first went to Brazil in 2018. Yeah, I went, and you were giving me some pointers. And it wasn't necessarily called Passport Bros then, but you've been there before. Was there like with the Charles Tyler? You were cool with him, and so you was one of the early adopters of what people are getting famous for now. But before we get into Passport Bros, what took you into traveling overseas and wanting to live this expat life?
Frustration, really. I was probably about 2014, 2015, 2016. I started seeing, America kind of going on a downward trajectory as far as, inflation, dating, all types of stuff. So, police violence. There was just so much going on at that particular time. That was like around the area of the formation of the Black Lives Matter movement and all that good stuff. And I was looking for a solution. I'm like, something got to be better than this right here in the States. It's got to be bigger than this. And I came up across Charles Tyler Facebook group, the Black Man's Option. Shout out to them. And I just started, looking through the posts and everything. I'm like, okay, these guys are traveling the world. These guys are in Brazil. I thought Brazil was a third world country. I thought it was super dangerous in Brazil, but they seem to be okay. And I ended up going to Brazil. I linked up with Charles Tyler, rest in power to Charles Tyler. And it just kind of changed my life. I was down there for 10 days initially, had a great time, loved it. And when I came back to America, I just started setting myself up to be able to live overseas long term.
Okay. So let me, kind of talk to you about some of the misconceptions, because I know you went down there, you went and saw Brazil and things like that. What did your family say about, you deciding to go to a place like Brazil or just live in a place like that? What were their ideas about that?
My family was 100% supportive of me traveling the world. They actually gave me encouragement. The only person that spoke negatively about it was my barber at the time, who he had been cutting my hair since I was like a teenager. Okay. And he was telling me how dangerous it was and everything, and I almost pulled out. But the family member was just like, "Nah, go ahead and go. You should be okay because you got people already down there." And I had paid for a consultation from a guy from the Black Man's Option as well before I even got down there. And he assisted me. He picked me up from the airport, all that good stuff. So I had like a little line of connect down there, which made it a whole lot easier. But yeah, my family was fully supportive.
Okay, so what was different? Because I know you're from Atlanta. It's a very progressive city as far as African Americans are concerned. You see people from the Black community. I'm from Sacramento, Los Angeles area. Both those places. So I know people from Sacramento that moved to Atlanta, people from Oakland moved to Atlanta, LA moved to Atlanta, a lot, New York City, where a lot of people from Atlanta not even really from there. And so people look at Atlanta as a place of a hub. Entertainment's there, businesses there, people doing well there, right? But you were looking at getting out of Atlanta to go someplace else. Did you not see a lot of opportunities there in the Atlanta area for yourself, or?
No, Atlanta has tremendous opportunities. I do have a film and media background. It's a lot of jobs. Hollywood's coming down into Atlanta. They have a lot of tax incentives and all that. You see a lot of shows and movies being made in Atlanta. So Atlanta has tremendous opportunities as far as film, the real estate, a lot of opportunities. But the reason I really made the decision is just because I wanted a more easier lifestyle, and I wanted a more culture, more time to spend with family and friends, right? Or people I consider to be my family overseas, expat family and everything. And I saw that it wasn't as, for Americans, it's not as demanding when you're making US dollars to be able to live a good lifestyle without having to push 60, 70 hours a week and just having to have money just to pay the bills. So I saw that. And I also saw that the dating culture was a little different. And for a guy, a little older with no children, I was looking for more of a woman I could start a family with, per se, than just 2-year flings that, Atlanta is known for, basically.
Right.
That's probably, that was years ago, probably 6-month flings now. But that, dating culture, I was kind of like, you know what, I'm kind of over this. I want something a little different, and I was in love with Brazil. I actually ended up moving to Colombia first for a year, fell in love with Colombia as well.
Right.
And I just been loving just traveling the world, man, and experiencing different cultures, meeting all different types of people, meeting people from all over. And the cool thing about traveling is the language, bonds you together, right? So we usually probably wouldn't speak to, this guy in America, but, overseas, it's like, okay, it's more of a brotherhood being built. So you got guys all the way from TaylorMade, he's an older gentleman, all the way guys to younger guys like, Austin. It's more of it's a little patriarchy being rebuilt now. That's a very good thing for us.
So let me talk to you about this, because obviously passport bros, for the most part, you have a few incidents happening in the community the last few years, and obviously there were some incidents even happening before you became a YouTuber. We used to, because those communities are pretty small, African American men that you have, and obviously what's been leveraged against that famous 1988 Ebony article that these black men are going to Brazil, are participating in what you see, sex tourism, and they typically go to these hot spots that are known for prostitution: Brazil, South America, Thailand, if you will. And you're starting to see that stigma being really placated on black men that are traveling. And what is your response to, especially with some of the women on TikTok? I know the passport bros is a really big thing on TikTok also, right? It's a big thing.
Right.
How do you respond to people just pretty much delegating those negative attributes to the passport bros?
Well, the thing is, I want to definitely make this clear that passport bros are all ethnicities. I know it has a black orientation because of the bros at the end, but then our Facebook group was like about 18,000, approaching 19,000 members. You got men from all over the West, basically, looking for more traditional values in women to be able to cement legacies for the most part. The majority of guys who are living overseas are not participating in any nefarious activities because they have laws in these countries, number one. But you do have your vacation warriors who go out and they just do their thing in these countries. Same thing as guys going to a strip club in Miami or Atlanta or in New York. All right, America is just not clear and free of the ST, basically. You got people that come from overseas to go to Vegas and participate in those type of activities as well. I don't think men, for the majority, especially black men, are not participating in any of those activities. And you really can't find too much evidence of that for the most part. Like I say, you might have your vacation warriors, you might have a minority of dudes, but black men will never be the face of that, ever. As a matter of fact, you got plenty of evidence of other people, and either the other sex, women participating in that heavy, so much so that it might be getting banned from countries like in East Africa and everything. And then we all know what happens in Jamaica. And I'm not trying to throw anybody on the bus, but a lot of that is pretty much just hatred for the most part, because some people are uncomfortable with black men having the option to travel more like other ethnicities of men been doing
When you say
for the
some
last
people,
20, 30 years.
Who do you mean when you say? Because what do you mean some people? I see. Can you be more specific? Who are those people?
Well, I really don't try to go back and forth with the women because I know a lot of women are going to be uncomfortable with it because they feel like men are leaving the dating marketplace and they want to have that abundance of male simps to be able to, pick and choose from, right?
Right.
But I like to focus on the guys who are hating. You got the PUA coaches who are losing market share. They're upset about it. That's the main sector. But then you have individuals on YouTube who say, "Oh man, you guys just leaving because y'all can't get girls." Dude, most guys, passport bros, are over 25, over 30, and we're not trying to compete. That should be a good thing for you guys that men are now leaving and spreading their options out overseas. That's more for you to date in America. So you got haters like that who might say a lot of misconceptions or disinformation or put negative content out there to go back. It's like this versus, right? Because anybody can be a passport bro. You got a lot of people that label guys passport bros. Any type of negative thing, if they want clicks and views, they will put passport bros in the title and stuff like that. And we know that a lot of these guys don't even identify themselves as passport bros. Because remember, passport bros is not an organization, it's more so of an ideology. It's just a group of men that have a love for travel and experience in different cultures, right? And expanding their options overseas, whether economically or in the dating, global dating market, basically.
Right. So
that's what Passport Bros initially is about. All this really stemmed from the popularity of the Facebook group and, outlets like you, platforms like you, you was, putting it out there for us and it just grew. And now it's this big phenomenon on TikTok and Facebook and YouTube. And now everybody's talking about it right now. But I was utilizing the passport bro term. If you look at some of my older content, I was utilizing the passport bro term like back in 2019, 2020, when I was in Colombia. I was just calling my shows like Passport Bros and all this stuff like that. And then when the initial Facebook group got taken down, Black Man Travels, we named it Passport Bros because we felt like the group was targeted because of that name. That's where all the
so are you the first person to come up with the term Passport Bros?
I don't want to give myself credit for being the first person because, ideas and names is kind of like tip top in the universe. I'm not sure if somebody was utilizing or saying it first, but I know I started utilizing, very, very early on, years ago. And I'm not sure where I might have heard it at or somebody might have mentioned it or something like that. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But, it's like when guys say travel gang or runway guys or runway boy. I think Tony Yayo got passport boys or something like that. I don't think Tony Yayo actually came up with the name. You probably heard it somewhere, but he just utilizing that now.
Okay, so now let me talk about some of the women because I see a lot of the women say things that for me are a little bit confusing because when they see the passport bros, one of the things that these ladies are saying are, you guys are corny. When I hear what they're saying on TikTok, you guys are corny. We didn't want y'all anyway. You couldn't get a woman in America.
Right.
They're saying that, right? Like you hear that all the time. Then on the other hand, those women don't want you over there. They're just using you. And we wouldn't deal with you at home. So going over there, so we still mad that you went over there, but we wasn't going to give you the opportunity here in the first place. And so now what I'm seeing is like guys, feeling a little bit, like as far as the quality of life has improved, they feel like they're actually getting relationships with women that actually are feminine, women that actually want to be in the relationship. And you can obviously, there's proof of that. I mean, I'm living overseas, so I kind of already, I've already seen these things. Do you think that because of the success of these individual guys, that you do feel like certain women can be threatened by this, and why?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like I said before, they feel like the dating market is shrinking more so, and it's already extremely competitive on both sides now, especially with social media apps and dating can be. We all know that's a different type of rules that goes on with dating, and the laws aren't in the man's favor. And what's happening in the next 10 years in America, as far as the economy and as far as relationships, it seems like it's going to be on a downhill trajectory, and a lot of men are recognizing it because men pay a little bit more attention to like world politics, right? So guys are like, okay, it's already going to get tough. Like, the dollar is losing some of its value. It's going to get, serious in the next decades or so. Why would you go into a business contract where you jeopardize half of your wealth, half of your heart, everything you work for your whole entire life? Why would you do that, knowing that it's a huge or a large divorce rate in America? So you got guys that are being logical and saying, you know what? I kind of, want a woman that shares similar values that I grew up with, and especially the older guys who grew up with, 2-parent households, or who recognize the power of having, an entire whole family circuit. And they're sort of going to, places like South America, Southeast Asia, even Africa, where you are, and right, looking for women or and finding women with more traditional values that don't want to be so career focused. They want to be more family focused. And I think the women are recognizing that, seeing, okay, these guys, they might call us dusty and broken and everything, but of course it costs money to travel, right? So these are high value guys, or guys who have their stuff together, leaving the dating pool, and they feel threatened by that.
Let me ask you a personal question. How has your life changed as far as dating from living in Atlanta in comparisons to your life now living next to in Thailand now? Mm-hmm. How has your dating life changed on a day-to-day basis, or just, in general, since you've left the United States?
It's changed a lot, man, because, when you're dating within a different culture, you see that it's a little bit more genuine, right? Like when you take women on dates in Colombia or in Brazil, they're genuinely interested in you versus, you back in Atlanta, you got a woman, she's just getting a nice little meal, take it to a nice restaurant or whatnot, and she's going to be on to the next guy, because that's kind of like baked within the culture. That's kind of normal or normalized, where it's just, I don't think men generally like dating like that. You feel me? I think the women get more of a kick out of it because they get to, kind of manipulate different guys to kind of, spend money on them, basically. Okay. While the guys is losing money and time, right? So I think the biggest difference for me is the fact that, while I'm overseas, I have I can date because it's cheaper, and the women are a little bit more genuine. Not all, but the majority of women that I'm dating, versus in America, it's just more like she got 10 Tinder dates that week alone. And you just got number 6 or number 7. Not all. Let me express that. Not all, but in general, I think that it's not such a dating culture in these countries like it is in America. It's more of a in-game dating is what I call it. Like, okay, you go on this date with this woman, you have a chances of getting married, and women overseas, and this is a big thing, the fact that they don't look at the age gap so much so like they do in America, where in America you kind of forced to kind of date women in your same 4-5 year age range. Well, overseas, in every country I just mentioned, you're looking to date a woman that might be younger, like 25, 26, 27, who might have had less experience dating different types of men. So she's not comparing you to, 30, 40 men like you would dating an older woman in the States.
So I know that Thailand, I would understand probably the most ladies probably speak some level of English, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Thailand and the Philippines, they speak English.
Okay. So how is it, in your opinion, approaching women, to say hello in America in contrast to that of, living overseas?
Man, let me tell you, Southeast Asia, man, it's some hard choosing on their side, right? You kind of like the exotic guy, you from America, you from what I deem a popular culture. you're interesting. So you can always just recognize like eye contact. If they kind of, in some cases, even make the first move, right? But they'll ask you a question or something, look in your eyes, and you just take it further and get their contact information, and you just move on from there. So yeah, a lot of women recognize the value in Western men all around the world.
Now, you said that's important. Women recognize the value of Western men. What is it about Western men that women find value in other parts of the world outside the United States?
Okay, well, let's just keep it a buck and keep it 3,000. Of course, you have the American dollar behind you. Women have a base nature where they like to be comfortable, and they like men that have resources or accesses to resources. That's not going to change anywhere you go in the world. But another big thing is the fact that we're probably some of the most liberal men in the world, hands down, right? In comparisons to other groups of men that are a whole lot more conservative and concerned with relationships to their women. And I think that's a big thing. The fact that Western men, we've been brought up a certain way to where our culture is extremely liberal in concerns of women's rights and, women in the workplace, and we can be very respectful and all that good stuff. Not to say that the men overseas are, disrespectful in any type of way. I'm just saying that a lot of Western men just, we're very, I'm trying to figure out the right word, not apologetic, but we give the women a lot of leeway, so to speak, in concerns of dating men from their culture.
So let me ask you something, because with a lot of Western men, we earn like in the top 1% to the rest of the world, right? So a lot of us as men, we don't know really what some of our value is. Not to say that money is everything, but it does allow you to, like you said, you live in somewhere in Thailand. If you have the dollar, I met a brother the other day from Canada, and the brother was working for, I think he works for like a Royal Bank in Canada, but he lives in Uganda, and he's still earning in Canadian dollars. He has a Ugandan girlfriend, cool brother he's a Caribbean Canadian, and but he's he's living over here enjoying life. He loves it here. So and he has a woman that's a Ugandan, and I see him at the gym all the time. He seems like he was very excited to be here. But not only that, I see a lot of the brothers that are coming to these places also getting into different opportunities. And I know that the passport bros never get any credit for getting into other opportunities, like actually being married, actually starting businesses, contributing to the local communities. I know that Taylor Made Dreams does a lot of charity work. What are some of the other things that you're seeing some of the passport bros doing in these countries that don't get publicized?
The biggest thing is supporting local businesses and supporting each other as well. And that's the beautiful thing about it. I do interviews on my YouTube channel of brothers opening up businesses in Thailand and Brazil and Colombia and helping stimulate the economy, hiring the locals and everything. That's a big thing that people don't talk about. Another thing is, a lot of passport bros give back. You have food drives, toy drives every holiday in the DR. In Brazil, in Colombia, you got guys that donate toys to the police officers in Medellin, Colombia. So it's a lot of good positive things that people are not taking into consideration, that we bring value wherever we go on this planet. We're bringing value and we're bringing resources. Like I said, when you open up a business, you're helping to employ people, right? And also, like, I got friends, Brazilians, Colombians. I'll link them up within the group with tour guides. So we're just pushing money through their economy, man. Tourism is a very big thing. It's a big sector of these countries' economies. It's tourism now, especially. That's why everybody has their own version of a digital nomad visa to encourage people from all over the world to move to their countries and be able to stimulate their economy.
What are the opportunities in these other countries? Before I kind of get into that, right? I'm in Uganda. I have a podcast called the Recap Podcast, and so I've seen you guys there do something very similar. where some of you brothers are getting there and they're sharing your experiences. You guys are collaborate. You Zoom to Thailand and have these discussions and things like that. So we have that here. Somebody commented like, man, you know, all of the things you're doing over there, you could be doing over here. And I thought that was very interesting. Do you ever feel like, or how do you feel about somebody who says that? And have you ever heard anybody say about some of the black men that are doing very well over there? Like, why didn't you just do that in America? And maybe some of the things the outlooks would have changed. Have you ever considered that? Or
you're talking about America? Okay.
Yeah, like instead of doing what you're doing in Thailand, stimulating the things in Colombia and Thailand, you know, what about having that skill in like in Black America?
You definitely can do that. You got guys to open up black businesses, especially in Atlanta. We definitely support whatever, you know, guys come up within the community. That's always an option. I don't, you know, tell guys, oh no, you can't do that or you shouldn't do that. No, like, hey, whatever, you're your own man.
What I'm trying to say is, if you guys are being successful in these foreign countries, have you ever heard somebody say, why y'all doing it over there and not here? That's what I'm kind of mean, like with that.
Well, you have more opportunity overseas in a lot of cases. First of all, your dollar goes a whole lot further, and you have like, I give you a perfect example. It's a brother he has a restaurant called Kickin' Chicken here. It's pretty much the only soul food restaurant that I know about. So, you know, you have a lot of, you know, of us that going to frequent that business, right? He doesn't have that much competition. As if you open up a soul food spot in Atlanta, guess what? You're soul food spot number 52, number 53, and you got three right down the street from you, right? So those opportunities that I'm talking about, you know, a lot of these people from other countries, they have entire districts in Thailand, right? Like the district I'm in, it's primarily, you know, Russians and Europeans here, and they have businesses here as well. So this is not like, you know, some new anomaly or anything like that. This is what people have been doing for a long time. Remember, you got more Lebanese in Brazil than you do in Lebanon right now, right? They have their own. You got Japanese in Brazil. They have their own districts, and this is what I've been trying to preach to you know, our people for a while now. Like, yo, I know, you know, we want to help build our communities up, and that's a great thing, and we can still do that. But we do need a portion of us that have, you know, roots in Ghana, roots in, like you say, Uganda, South Africa, Thailand, Cambodia, the Philippines. You got to be worldwide with it in this global economy now. You want to have accounts all over the world in this day and age. You want to have shillings, baht, you know, real. You want to have different options. You want to have real estate all over the world. And this is what I've been preaching for us for a very long time. I've not changed my message since I started this. I said, man, we have a lot of opportunities as Americans, and you can take advantage of opportunities overseas more so than taking advantage in America. Because in America, man, it's expensive, number one. Number two, it's just a very competitive market, right? It's a very competitive market because you're competing with other Americans. Versus, like I said, in Thailand, you open up a soul food or a Jamaican restaurant, there's no other soul food or Jamaican restaurant. So you got that whole market.
Yeah, and shout out to brother Tim Swan. I did an interview with him on the King Ghana channel, and he was like, well, so how do you feel about people who said that we shouldn't be in Africa? He said, look, but we can do both. We can be in America and in the new place. And I've noticed that, you know, people are just so small-minded. You know, those Russians have that business in Thailand, and Thailand is, I think, the number one country for tourism right now, or even Dubai, those places. And they're making money, and for sure that money is going back, part of it at least, to where they're from and to their community, the same way it would be with us. You know, if you're doing good in Thailand, you would definitely send some of that money back to America, to your family and everything like that. So, but let me just ask you, you know, also, what are, you know, some of the misnomers? We talked about sex tourism and things like that, but what are some of the other things that you think people are misjudging the passport bros that don't really know them?
It's so many, man. I think the biggest one is the concerns of the dating, of course. You guys can't get, the only reason you guys are traveling is because, you know, you can't get women in the States. which is definitely not true. You know, a lot of men were married or had dating experiences in America and continue to date in America. This is just an option for men. Like I say, the whole world now is going global. The world has gotten smaller because of internet, because of online jobs, online banking, all this good stuff now. And of course, dating apps. So that's one of the biggest ones is, the only reason you're traveling is because you can't get women in the States. A lot of guys can get women in the States. It's not like a complicated math problem at all. You know, women in America most of the time are very liberal on, you know, dating and who they hook up with anyway. So that's one of the biggest things. Another big thing I hear that's a lot is that, you know, it's only the ST thing, which is 100% not true, like I said before. That's the big one. They're trying to put that on us when that's just not the case. You know, men are going to be traveling. It's here to stay. And a lot of people are not comfortable with it because they got that plantation mindset where they might not be in a position to be able to travel. I don't know if you saw the video I did about Charleston White talking down the passport bros. Yeah. Who threw some salt on us and everything like that. Or, you one of these, you ain't got no game. I'm like, bro, dudes are in their 30s and 40s. Nobody's trying to play games anymore. It's about to get serious now. Like, it's about, like, people don't understand because they don't really pay attention to world politics. It's about to get serious, you know? And like I say, men are looking for women who are not going to rip their families away, right? I saw an interview with one of the guys from Rolex, one of the sons of Rolex, who can trace his great-great-great-grandfather. They've been in that business for the last 300-400 years. Well, how do they do that? They do that because they have a family structure where all they got to do is plug a family member and a friend into their business. It's already set up. And that's what you're going to have to do looking forward. You know, the whole one-man army thing where you just work a 9 to 5, those days are coming to an end. The middle class is starting to small enough. You know, you got to have some type of online hustle nowadays, right? So guys are getting it together and they don't want to risk it no more. You know, when you marry in America, you marry into the state. And you run a risk. It's a very risque contract that you have to sign just to have a family, right? Just to try to raise your kids in a 2-parent household. Where you got a woman that might be overseas in any of these countries, you know, Uganda, Thailand, whatever, who just wants to focus more so on the family. And you focus on being a protector and a provider. And a lot of men are starting to be more comfortable with that role.
Okay. So, what are some of the last things you want to talk about? I mean, as far as the passport bros and some of the controversies and some of the wins that you brothers have over the years?
Well, I want to just say passport bros won't ever be stopped. It's here to stay. It's going to continue to grow. Men are going to continue to join the Facebook groups. It's not a organization or anything like that. It's simply an ideology, right? It's just men coming together, you know, and give each other knowledge on their love, travel the world, right? So we can be informed, so we can stay safe. So that's number one. I want to say that passport bros is here to stay, no matter how many people try to mislabel it, no matter how many people, you know, label themselves passport bros who don't necessarily have some of the core principles of a passport bro. You know, because you got guys who just, you know, will call themselves passport bros. They just literally went on a 3-day vacation to the DR or something. And now they're a passport bro, right? They make some crazy type of look content or something like that. I don't consider that to even be passport bros. It's just a really popular term right now. And everybody's leveraging it all throughout the media right now. But we're here to stay. You know, guys can continue to travel. I want guys to get their passports and just, you know, keep up with world news and see what's going on and see the value of having a passport and the value of being able to expand your options overseas if need be.
And it's a record number of passports that were, I think, ordered. Was it last year or the beginning of this year? Yeah.
Yeah, so, man. You know, hopefully I had something to do with that. You know, so
yeah.
Those passports, man.
Black Male Travels, first coming pin to the top, guys. Like I say, he's one of the more popular brothers, more knowledgeable brothers in the passport bro movement. One of the early adopters, I can tell you that. And subscribe, hit the bell, check him out. We're out.